All right. All right. What's good, y'all? I'm going to also post this in the Slack just in case. YouTube Creator Studio. All right, welcome. If you're coming in from Twitter, we're getting set up as we speak. YouTube, you already know. But welcome into the Cut 37-Day Challenge. Alex, what are those splits looking like today, brother?
On the running side?
I mean, anything I'm saying. What's the regimen?
Man, it's been so out of whack last few weeks with travel. It's getting back into the swing of things though.
What's the name of my feed on Twitter right now? For anybody who's new here, anytime we go live, Oren makes like the name of my live on Twitter something.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I need your help is yours. So
if you're coming to us through that, we're fine.
He needs your help.
Yeah.
Colin, do you want to explain what specifically you need help with?
I was hoping you could do that for me. I don't.
No, fair enough. You need help with the golf stem idea. That's technically a one shot, right? We can just get right into. All right, I'm going to drop this in the YouTube comments so you can see it. But welcome everyone who's coming. We're going to give people another moment or two to get situated and in here before we do it. But in the meantime, it's a good example to pull open. Young Colin Landforce dropped a video.
It's ripping, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shrippity. All right, let's see. Let's see the stats. In the stat 45.5, you know?
Yeah, in like 4 hours, 5 hours.
Driving, cheesing.
My wife
built out a Simbay for $50K, charged $250K a year for membership, sign up 100 members, $25 million a year revenue. Stop being lazy. There we go. If you didn't know, content is just that easy. So we'll give a quick one through because there's people coming in here. You are allowed to ask questions here. We're going to give like a spiel, but you can put any questions or anything that comes up while you're talking it. We're going to give like an overview of the 7-day challenge. We're going to talk through one shots. We're actually going to go through what everything in the 7-day looks like. You can post your questions there in the YouTube. We see all those. We will get to them in time if they're not answered naturally through the curriculum. But all right, yeah, cool. I guess we can just pop right in. So if you are joining us and if you're coming out and you have no context as to what this is the Cut 37-Day Challenge. So myself, Alex Garcia _ATX at Landforce. He doesn't have his handle, so I spelled out his handle. It doesn't have it on there, so it wasn't a joke. We have a 30-day course called Cut 30 where we teach people how to be content creators. We also do these free 7-day ones for everybody, brands, creators, existing creators, people who've never made video before occasionally, just to get more people rolling and flowing and seeing what we do. And usually we have a grand old time and a bunch of people go viral, and we're going to repeat that here. So what you can expect inside this, what you can expect inside Cut 30 in general, the 7-day challenge version, is we're going to make 3 videos over the course of 7 days. We're going to teach you the first now. We do a handful of Zooms. There's coursework in Kajabi that Colin will go through how all that works in a second. We're going to teach you how to make a one-shot. We're going to teach you how to make a yap. And we're going to teach you how to make a 10-shot. These are 3 really common video types that anyone can do. The first one doesn't involve any speaking on camera or anything like that. So it's great for everybody. And we'll get into that deep. But in this particular training today, we're going to walk through how the 7-day challenge works and all the logistics of it. We're going to show you where you post, how you work with other people in the community, and we're going to actually walk through what a one-shot is, why they work so well. Alex has a bunch of examples from lo-fi to hi-fi, and just meet all of y'all and get into it. So on that note, should we do intros of any kind, or do we want to just get into it?
No, let's
just get ready.
All right, I love it. Everyone knows Landforce. All right, brother, want to break down Kajabi and Slack and how this all works?
Yep, I'm sharing my screen. With luck. All right. So before we do that, if you're here, that's a good start. You should have a Slack invite and a Kajabi invite. Kajabi is the platform where all the course content lives. We're going to take a look at that now. Please note that every single thing in the Kajabi, can you guys see my screen, by the way? Yeah?
We cannot. I just added it to stage. Here you go.
Okay, perfect. So please note, every single thing in this Kajabi is also going to get emailed to you guys as it's released. So more content becomes available every day. You will also get emails about it. Let's take a quick tour in here. Pretty straightforward. If for some reason you want to rewatch this gives us a little intro of everything we're doing here. This gives you a rundown of how to use Slack. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on that because it's pretty straightforward. The gist of it is the video sharing channel is where you're going to share the stuff that you make in here. The 7-day challenge channel is the channel where we'll post announcements, links to lives, so on and so forth. This has our call schedule and what you'll need to complete this, which is nothing too crazy. You'll find later on as we're doing yaps that some cheapo microphones can be helpful, not required. Again, this is stuff that you can probably get same day from Amazon at worst. The rest of this is released every day as we go through it, right? Day 1, day 2, so on and so forth. Each of them has a page of curriculum and then a page that lays out a homework. The homework includes, generally speaking, sharing that in the Slack channel. Before we dive in too much though, one of the common questions we get here is, even if we show you exactly how to make the videos, is what should my videos be about? So I want to take a second to talk to you guys about content ideas in general. All right. Everybody who's in here is either a personality, an expert, or a brand, generally speaking, right? Maybe we've got a business, which is kind of an offshoot of what we talk about as a brand account. But a personality being a master of none, someone who's talking about their life, what they're doing, what they know about, and generally speaking, yapping, which is what we'll talk about later. Expert is something that shows off a specific expertise on a genre, a topic, a subject, an industry, so on and so forth. And then a brand, right, is an account that's making content about your brand, your business, the services you offer, so on and so forth. So again, in that context, the common question is, what the hell do I actually make a video about? And the answer to that almost always lies in this handy dandy, world famous Cut 30 Venn diagram, which is what you can talk about or show off in the context of a brand forever, what you can actually execute on reliably, right? Because if it costs $1 million and you can only do it twice a year, it's not very useful for us in short form. And then what people are actually interested in. And unironically, we only find content that matches all these things and that sits at the intersection by trying stuff and posting stuff. And the purpose of everything we're going to do in here is to get you rolling on that or get you jump started if you've been stalling out, so on and so forth. So again, what you can talk about or show off forever, what you can actually do every day, every other day, something like that, and what people are actually interested in, what the algo is going to grab onto, so on and so forth, right? There is a whole world of content to be made within that, and we'll get into some specific inspo in the specific video examples. And with that, I'll pass it to Alex to talk about, is that who's next? Talk about one shots?
Oren's going to hit like one shots. I'm going to hit examples. Go ahead, Oren.
Perfect.
Yeah, perfect. Let me grab a kind of relevant example here real quick. And for those just joining us, if you do not know what is happening, this is the Cut 30 7-day challenge where you learn how to make content with us for free for 7 days and make 3 videos. You can still join if you haven't at cut30.co. If you are already joined, then we just walk through all of the kind of coursework and everything that you have to learn from over those first few days. And let me, and that content drips out very slowly over these 7 days. You see new stuff all the time once you get in here. So let me actually find this page. So what are we talking about at one shot? By one shot, we literally mean one video shot. All right, I got what I was going to share. Let me pop it into here. So literally you will have seen these videos. You've all seen these videos where this person has a single shot of him sitting on the subway. He has some text over it, and that is the extent of the video. So a good one shot is super quick. It's not a 15-second video, a 20-second video, a 30-second video. It is a 6-second video, roughly. I'd say 5 or 6 seconds is the sweet spot for this. Let's say 5 to 7, where you are just literally putting a clip, ideally a great clip of your phone, and then you actually put some text over it. And what I want to call out on this is that the reason these do well is you do not reinvent the wheel. I'll also show some luxury brand examples just to make some points on this. But for everyone on here, we want you to use the TikTok classic font, white with a black outline. We want you to use the Instagram classic font, white with a black outline. And then absolutely Nothing else. No font choices, nothing unique. Do not reinvent the wheel. If you want to succeed doing this challenge, you use that text. You follow this kind of exact placement that they have here. You don't put it really high or really low, and you put it over a really good looking and compelling video clip. So every one shot has 3 components. The video shot, and we basically suggest you take a really compelling video that ties to what you do, or pick something really amazing from your camera roll. The text that you actually put over it, and finding a way to make that interesting, funny, or compelling. And then the audio that you use, which you would suggest kind of scrolling Instagram and TikTok and picking something. We have a bunch of references in here of how to do this. So in the coursework, we give you direction for this. Don't just go off, make your own stuff up. Follow what we do. We have kind of life advice, motivational. We have some brand examples, just a few different ideas of how you can approach it. But that is the component of what makes a one-shot. It is literally that simple, and it is one of the most effective content types that brands and creators use because of that, because it is so simple. I will pass it off to Alex to give me a couple examples of that there as well.
Cool. So,
Guys, while Alex is pulling that up, every time we do this, we have people make their one-shots and like have crazy fonts and try and become art directors overnight with their videos. And to recap what Oren just said, use the stock default fonts, typically in white with a black border, and don't get tricky with this stuff. If we look at these videos and the ones that rip, it is almost never the people who are trying to like exude their brand through the one shot. It is almost always people using the default styles. Sorry, Alex, go for it.
oh, good. Can y'all see my screen?
There we go. Yes.
Talk about stage. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is one of my favorite examples of a one-shot video. Obviously, you can see this popped off. Actually, let me jump into it.
Yeah, zoom in a bit on that, just too, because notice people are seeing this like YouTube size. So when you do click in it, just like, yeah, give it a little.
Okay, let me see.
You got infinite screen now, though. Yeah, there you go.
Cool. So if you actually look at her page, she's built nearly her entire following off of one-shot videos. Like you can see them here, 40,000, 861,000, 6.7 million, 7.4 million. She absolutely rips with these videos. And so and she's a lawyer. That's the other, if you think you're a lawyer and you can't make good content that's interesting, like this is a perfect account that does an amazing job of this. But if you actually look at her content and you kind of see what she does, this is something I haven't seen a lot of, where she uses the one-shot video to be, this kind of compelling visual. She's reading something. She, again, uses that kind of default text. And the copy and like the headline is almost like a teaser for what she breaks down in her caption, which I think is really smart. Because if you think about it, you can use your caption actually as like a retention tool, because if somebody's reading the caption and they spend 40 seconds on it and it's an 8-second video, in theory, that is them watching that video 5 times, right? And so that's going to increase your average watch time. So you see this, we sold the company for 50 million, but after 6 years, the 4 founders walked away with just 8 million total. And then she goes to explain it over here. This is a really good example of a one-shot video. Again, I would look at her page because she does these left and right, where she really puts in a little visual. She always has the action within it, has kind of like this curiosity gap using just a headline on the video, and then explains it here. One of my favorite examples. Another good example is, oh, this is not it. Okay, are y'all seeing it when I switch?
Yeah, good.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. This is another one of my favorite examples. You'll see this a lot. People will do a lot of like POV videos as one shots. POV customer didn't want whipped cream. And it's just like something so outlandish, right? Something so crazy, where you're just recreating some kind of scenario and then you add something absolutely wild to the video that is like that eye-catching thing that has the viral factor, that you're sharing it with a bunch of people. Again, 644,000 likes on this. If I had to guess, 10 million plus views. Very simple video to do, but this is just thinking about like funny skits that you can do as a brand, depending on your brand's personality and like what the content that you create and the content pillars you want to have. Like you could come up with all sorts of different skits, whether you have a retail space, whether you have an office space that you can create skits with. There's a brand called Nude Project that I really like. They do a lot of one-shot videos just within their space or anytime they're shooting campaigns. And again, pay attention to the text. They're using the same text and font format as the videos that Oren referenced. So this is another one-shot video. This has all the viral factors as well, but this is rope swing Moab. So this is more on the adventure style or adventure side. So you can think, oh, like, of course this, this has the potential to go viral, but there's actually a lot of elements within this one-shot video. This is a little bit longer, but it's almost like one long story being told, but they started at like the exact right moment where like this person's extremely doesn't want to jump, has all like the feelings going through. And so it automatically like creates this curiosity gap that you want to see, okay, is this person going to jump? Are they going to survive? Are they going to make it? Whatnot before, but they don't keep it too long where like, you're just like, okay, like I could care less and you move on. So if you have something that's action oriented, you have something that's more experience based, you can kind of figure out how to leverage a one shot to have that like start point be your hook to then the action being like the revealing aspect of the video. Or actually, let me play that so you guys can see how it is. As you can tell, it has all the viral factors, but if it would have just started on the jump, it wouldn't have been as impactful, right? Like you want to hear him kind of getting nervous, being like, oh, fuck, like, I don't know, and then doing it, right? Like that's what makes this such a good piece of content. Again, when we talk about skits, this is another easy way of doing it. You just have to get really creative with how you create these. This page actually does a lot of kind of like one-shot skits, but here's another example. Very simple, still using that native text. This is one of my favorite examples, and I think Oren knows them as well, but there's this company Ladder here in Austin. They've been doing this for probably 2 to 3 years now. They've kind of built their entire company off of one-shot videos that they have all of their coaches create one-shot videos, or they have an entire team dedicated to creating one-shot videos for their team. And they'll be ripping 2 to 3 for each of their coaches every single day. This video got, I think it's 10 or 12 million views, 317,000 likes, and I think it was like it collected 50 or 60,000 emails off of one video. And this is a one-shot video where they actually try to play into motivation, right? Like whereas most people are saying try to be entertaining or educational, they play fully into motivation of, hey, how can I get somebody to motivate, or how can I get somebody to take action based on what we're saying within this caption, right? Y'all give me 10 weeks to start taking you from that low energy beer belly bod to strong and shredded. All you need is to give me an hour, 3 to 5 days a week, and commit to a plan. We start Monday, April 8th, you in. So, right, if you look at it at the beginning, you basically are creating this this sense of relatability and looking at this line of, oh, damn, like that's what I'm experiencing. That's what I want to get rid of. Okay, can I give somebody or them 3 to 5 hours, or sorry, an hour, 3 to 5 days a week, and then commit to a plan. And then that CTA, there's an immediate start time, right? And so you're looking at this, and if you look at his page, they're ripping probably at this point 5+ of these every single week now, right? And this is a very easy video to replicate. You could do this within any category. One thing I would pay attention to that they did really well is the way that this is framed, right? You see him, he's kind of in the lower third, and they leave all of this white space to be able to create this. To be able to put all of this text here and make it very easy to read, versus if you would have been taking up the entire screen and then they put the body of text on top of him, it's not going to read as smooth. It's not going to be as easy to scan. So you want to consider all of that as well. I'll go into a travel one that's very similar. This is one of my favorite ones. This account does a lot of them. You can see it here, this in your favorite person, this villa in Italy. As you see these, right, this and no plans. You have these wide angle shots and just like this casual text on top that, when I'm looking at one shots, there's typically certain things that I'm paying attention to. There's typically always an action. If you're looking at something like this, they're really playing into aesthetics. They're really playing into the imagery and the wide angle and kind of like the aspirational lifestyle. Another thing to pay attention to is none of these videos are longer than 10 seconds. In reality, they all range from 6 to 8 seconds. Things as simple as this and no plans can be a video that goes absolutely viral. If you go through our actual Cut 30 bootcamp, you'll notice this is what we talk about as top of funnel content. So that content that has the potential to go viral, it's made to cast a wide net. It's made to generate as much reach as possible. This isn't product driven. It's not supposed to be product driven, but you can think about this kind of content as the one that expands past your follower base and essentially is like a magnet pulling the right people into, quote unquote, like your ecosystem, right? Like your account. Again, very easy video to create. Obviously not that easy to film in Tuscany, but you can do all sorts of variations of this video, whether it's in your office, whether it's where you live. It doesn't matter, right? You could do this in the gym. You could do this at a park, wide angle, try to take in as much scenery, position it in a way where there's a lot more space to be able to create a specific scene and have text that is very relatable or aspirational. Now we'll get into, as you see, like I'm progressing to kind of some more luxury one-shot videos. This is no difference. This you're really trying to play into aspirational lifestyle. Me, you in a classic Mercedes. This is a very easy one-shot video, right? Like if you are actually putting on shoots and you're trying to hit a specific amount of content for those shoots, this is something that's easy to create as well. Then this is probably one of my favorite brands when it comes to one-shot videos and doing it kind of at a luxury level, because they're thinking about it as like these moments that these characters are creating through their one-shot videos. So About Blank's probably one of my favorite ones, where they always are doing almost like taking like a movie scene and they'll recreate a movie scene and then promote a collection within that quote unquote movie scene, right? Something as simple as this, like this is something that you would see in a movie, but this also, when we talk about production value or like how much this would cost to produce, this wouldn't cost that much. You can do this. I show this example to say, hey, like you can do this with a DSLR, but you could also do this with an iPhone, right? When you look at all the tools at your disposal, like you have CapCut, you have Premiere if you want, like you have all of these things that let you color grade and let you make something taken on your iPhone look extremely well. But About Blank's one of my favorites. When you're thinking about this, you can think about almost like what movie scene can I recreate, and then just recreate it with your iPhone. You don't have to shoot on DSLR, but I also want to just show it. This isn't something that's hard to capture. This one's a little bit more hard to capture, but again, just trying to use it as an example of, as we get a little bit more luxury, you can create these one-shot videos that are fully playing into what somebody aspires to have or the lifestyle that they aspire to live within. And again, when we're talking about content at scale, trying to fill up a content calendar, or trying to create a good amount of content for a collection, one-shot videos are, I mean, in my opinion, it's very hard to beat them, because you can put so many different elements within a one-shot video. And then the last one that I'll say, because I got to root from Hyper Athlete Brothers, but we have this right here. There's a lot of accounts right now in the athletic space that you're going to see that they're just building their accounts off of one-shot videos that are nothing more than this. Very aesthetic background, very kind of very flashy, very beautiful, and then just dudes running. You know, and I go to show you some of these as well to say you don't have to overcomplicate it. Like this doesn't need to be amazing effects and crazy transitions and all these different aspects. You can literally just run behind somebody with a camera and, you know, and plan the content well and kind of plan the composition well and have an amazing shot that grows your brand. So all of these examples will be inside of Kajabi. They'll also be within all the curriculum that we're showing you guys, just so that you can see the different range of one-shot videos, from completely aspirational, shot at a higher production level, all the way down to just shooting something on your iPhone. You're in a plane. The lighting doesn't matter as well, but you have such a good hook that you can go viral.
You know, and I'm gonna show 3 from this last cut 30. From the last like full 30-day thing, just because they're like really simple, that are kind of personal, just so you can see some of like the basics of it too. Because we have just like kind of show that the wide range of examples, especially for like more individual people. So let me pop. Yeah, so this is one. This is a more motivational, but again, he's not. This shot isn't crazy or anything, but he's just kind of got a nice saying going on around what he's looking for. It's about 15K that he hit on that one. This one is always interesting, where it's just like an interesting scenario. We actually had an interesting conversation about this. This has 1 million views, but it's basically unlike any of his other content. It was like, hey, is there value to that? And it's always kind of thinking about like, okay, you can post something interesting, and this is a good exercise to learn how to like make something viral on the internet, that if you like make an interesting video and put something interesting over it, you can get a lot of views. But if it isn't achieving something for you, if it just exists to exist, it probably like doesn't have, it's like not getting you where you want to go. But this one, for instance, this is one of my favorites. Jordan's got 162,000 on this. He's going hammer at 45,000.
Oren, you're not sharing right now.
Oh, I'm not sharing anymore. 1 second, let me get one more on this. Up. All right, so yeah, so Jordan had this video 45,000 likes on this. He's a musician and also has like a clothing brand that's like music inspired. And he's got this like very niche scenario, like on a Hinge date, talking about a certain type of music. The audio to this like is of that music. And it's a pretty like, again, unique to his personality, reflects the kind of content he makes. But it's good top of funnel to basically attract like other music nerds that have gone through that, and goes into kind of just show you like what you can do from a basic perspective inside an exercise like this. So yeah, so like Alex mentioned, these are all, we have a ton of these linked inside Kajabi. So you have a bunch of examples of this. We'll send out a recap on that. For those who are kind of popping in, this is like a 7-day challenge. This is the first day of it. You can still join at the cut30.co link. And so it's worth kind of noting that you can kind of still pop in it if you haven't yet. We do 3 different types of videos within this. For the question here is that what if we're not good looking? Most of the people are good looking. A lot of these don't have people in them at all. Some of them do, some of them don't. You do not have to have a person in any of these videos. So why we like to start with this, because you only need to talk on camera and you only need to be on camera.
One of my biggest one shots is like a shipping container, right? They're like, all these are very text driven, with the exception of a couple of the higher production value ones that Alex shared. Like, this is a very text driven medium.
And to a point, Gary V does fine. So yeah, but this is more about the idea, and again, that's the part of the exercise. All people have all these kind of things that will hold them back from doing it. I can't do it because they're X or Y reason, or my niche or whatever. And like, look, we've had lawyers, realtors, painters, like every kind of personal thing you could think, like find their way on content. There is an angle for basically anybody, and that's age, background, country, whatever it looks like. So that is all I think we're going to walk through on here. Calling out the logistics of what happens next.
Yeah. So what happens next is homework. So tonight, if you haven't already, now that you're creating content, go follow 5 to 10 accounts that are in the realm of content that you are creating. Again, if you don't already, tomorrow morning, the first one-shot assignment, all related curriculum, is going to land. If it's not already available in Kajabi, I can't remember. But starting tomorrow, your homework is to make that one-shot video and then share it in the video sharing channel in Slack. If you're not in Slack yet, don't worry. You have an email in your inbox that'll get you in there, and that explains all this. But the homework is to make your first one-shot. And I want to reiterate not to get sidetracked trying to find beautiful cinematic video. I posted a one-shot today that I captured in 90 seconds while I was waiting for my burrito to be made. When we do the big cut 30, the homework assignment is to use a video that is already sitting in your camera roll. So don't overthink it, and make the first video.
Look at like there's a threshold, right? Of like you have your audio, you have your text, you have your video. You can, with good text, basically make up for a mediocre video. If you put something that's really funny or interesting or valuable, if you have an amazing video, you can kind of make up for mediocre text. Audio plays a part in it, but can't really drive it one way or the other. And if you have amazing of both, then you have the potential for real virality. And so it's kind of worth looking at. Like here, the goal is just like get a video out, learn how to do this. But it's kind of worth juggling that, because you'll kind of notice what that combination really looks like.
Yeah,
that
trick at the beginning, right? Like all of her videos, it was terrible lighting, terrible aesthetics, like just a little action there, but the text was so good and so compelling and so like curiosity driving that it went viral. But then, like Warren said, when you take one that it says whatever, like this and no plans, and it's a beautiful, even probably shot on iPhone, but it's beautiful. It's in Tuscany, jumping in the pool, and it has like the text element. It has the potential to get 10, 20, 30 million views. So it definitely all plays a part. If you can nail it all, great, but you don't need every element for a video to perform well.
Let's hit Q&A the last couple of minutes here, because I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat, and I know it's not super easy to reply to things. So to answer Andre or Andy, I'm not sure what your name is, but you should have an email with the Slack link in it. Check your spam if you don't have it. And if you don't see anything, email info@cut30.co and we'll get you in there. But I think you said earlier you got into Kajabi, which means it's probably sitting in your spam. We had another question. What was it?
People were asking about schedulers, and so we have tested this like intensively, third-party schedulers and in-app scheduling, and it decreases the likelihood of your content success, like universally across the board. And so the people are always like, oh, well, who's going to post it or how am I going to do this at scale? Like the question that was in there, it's straight up. It's 90 seconds. Like maybe it's 90 seconds. Like I go through every morning. I personally post, and I'm on Snapchat Spotlight, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, X. And if it is maybe 10 minutes. And so like, yes, if you're posting 6 or 7 times a day on all those platforms, you'd want someone to help manage that for you. But even then it's like, it's also the kind of thing you can do while you're on a call or in whatever. It is like, it gets one of those things where people get caught up in the logistics of it when it's just not like, exactly.
It's a classic non-issue.
And for context, we actually just did this with a brand where they were using Later, and I was like, hey, just for the next week, like let me look at your analytics and then just post it in platform. Dude, it was like 3-4 times the engagement by not posting using Later, any of the scheduling tools. I don't know what it is. There's no, everybody denies it, but there's something there.
Yeah. All right, and so quick note. Someone asked, as a photographer, DP videographer, it's a good way to attract brands to shoot content like this for them. One of my favorite things of that is literally showing what you would do if you would do it. So there's I forget what her name is. There's a woman who has a small social media agency who's always like, if I was going to make content for a fitness gym, I would do X, and then she'll both lay out ideas and she'll show a few of the shots. And I would literally be making content like that. Like if I'm a videographer for realtors, like if I was shooting for you, it would look like this. And that is a surefire way to get clients. The more local you get, kind of the better. Actually, the guy who shoots video for me, who actually ran to get Cut 30, the guy who shoots my YouTubes and stuff, does local stuff here in Orange County where I am. And he makes like stuff specifically being like for Orange County. Like he does food videos, like local stuff that attracts people locally to there. It's also useful. Someone else asked, what about posting in physical locations like third world countries? So one of the big things, I wouldn't start your account. Where you start your account on TikTok is where your account is going to be shown to primarily. So if you're starting in a third world country and you want to get shown to the US, you're going to be in a bit of trouble. If you are in the US and you're traveling all over, you're totally fine. Posting from wherever works. If you're logging in there's multiple people logging in at the same time, the accounts definitely know that. And there's definitely some oddball stuff there. So I would also focus on if you have someone posting for you, have them also logging in from your same country. There's really no get around to posting good content.
And Colin, if you need more help with that, email info@cut30.co. We have a little playbook for spoofing TikTok with VPNs and whatnot. We can add it to the curriculum if that's helpful for you.
Trevor asked, what can we realistically expect from a first one-shot video? Look, so the reason we're all here, the biggest arbitrage of content in the modern era is that TikTok will give you basically 400 views, let's say 200 to 400 views, no matter what you do, no matter how bad it is, unless it's like mentioning crypto or cannabis or something like that, it's going to give you those views. And you will, that is like just a major thing that never existed before. It gives you an opportunity to grow because if those views do well, people actually watch it, it will show it to more people. There are plenty of cases of people getting thousands, tens of thousands, or going viral on their first video. And it's the same thing on Instagram, just like slightly lower, slightly more throttle, but you'll still get a couple hundred views and you'll still have the potential where you could go really high. So like a good expectation is like try to crack 1,000 views on something is like a great way to look at like your starting content. And if you only get a couple hundred, that's a couple hundred people. But we had, I think our first Cut 30 7-day challenge, there's a woman who had like 140,000 her first video.
My first video on TikTok got 100,000 views. That was, and then I went off a cliff for the next 20. But
that's perfect. My first 50 got nothing. So really, I'm happy that you were able to achieve that. Yeah.
Let's hit the rest of these really quick and then call it a day, so we don't intrude in people's evenings here. Colin asked a question about capturing on non-mobile devices. So our recommended workflow is going to be modern iPhone and CapCut. That includes if you're a video guy who's got big bad cameras, like me, who's got big bad cameras and knows real editing software. You can use whatever you want, but highly recommend using these full mobile workflows because of what it unlocks for you. At the end of the day, do whatever you want. Cosme asks, is there flexibility between platforms? In general, we suggest posting everything everywhere, and that would be the case for this as well. If you have an inactive page, doesn't matter, ship it, unless it's like a big brand page where you're intentionally inactive and maybe you do some of this testing on a different account or similar. Let's see, how important is it to have a niche if we have multiple interests? You are the niche, brother. That's kind of a bigger, more existential question around all this stuff. The point of this is just going to be to start making some content. Yeah. The answer to that
You'll
question
find most people have multiple interests. I make content about like 19 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about
You
being
will find
interesting.
that by making a bunch of content. You will find what that mix is and how that all works.
Trevor's asking, do we work with any new brands or only established large brands? Like one-to-one. I know like I only work with one group now. Alex only works with pretty established brands on the stuff that he does. And so, but like in Cut 30, we get people of all types. It's kind of why that exists. What was the app you said could edit video content to make it look higher quality? We all do everything in CapCut or Edits.
CapCut has a lot of color grading things that you can do that make it just as good as Premiere.
Yeah.
Nearly as
CapCut
good.
has lots. Yeah, it's like you're fine.
Don't tell a video guy that, Alex, but it's pretty excellent.
Oh, damn, Korova in here. Blake was cracking. Yeah, voiceover with subtitles is not as viral as having a person talking in the corner. You can definitely go viral with each. It is a little bit easier with the green screen, I'd say, because people like there's more to watch. But there's plenty of people that like will just do voiceover on. I would just say doing voiceover on still images is way harder than doing voiceover with subtitles on video. And you can definitely still go viral that way. And like plenty of people do. And I would 100%, if you don't want to be on camera, I would be making vlogs. The third exercise we do in this course is called the 10 shot. I would just be doing those all day with voiceover and subtitles. That is a surefire way for brands and for people is like the best strategy, in my opinion.
Here's a good question from Jacob. If you run a business and are expert in your field, which route would you go? So 9 times out of 10, we would recommend going the expert route. That would be making content as Colin and building a personal brand around Colin rather than, in this case, like Cut 30, right? That's certainly like the clearest path 9 times out of 10. And if you're wondering, you should probably just do that.
Sorry. Daniel, I just answered your question wrong. Then I'm averaging 10 to 25x the views on TikTok rather than Instagram. Should I continue to post the same things on both? No. If that is the case, like we always recommend people post the same stuff to start. But if you're in this particular scenario where it's that different, it's because you're making content that is like better for TikTok than Instagram. And I would shift your Instagram strategy if you have the capacity to do that. You recommend TikTok over IG. We recommend hitting all of these. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, whatever. TikTok and IG are the best, but you're not going to know what you're really going to hit on until you start posting. Again, I think thinking through networks is overthinking it. I would post into more places and it compounds. Like YouTube Shorts is like not an amazing network, but if you post 150 videos over time, does it have a shitload of value for you for a video you were already making? Like 100% yes.
Might as well.
All right. These are
Valerie asked if you should use photos or videos. Absolutely videos. You'll see every one of the references of the video. We're doing videos. They're big picture. There may be places to use still images in your videos, but that's not what we're doing in any of these homework assignments.
And Scrappy was asking, should we use the paid version of CapCut? For all these assignments we have here, we don't even get really deep into CapCut. You can do all of this in the TikTok and Instagram native editors, which I would just do like this one shot. I would take your video, I put your text in each of the apps, add your audio in each of the apps, and just rip that. No third-party app needed. And that's the easiest way to add in the other fonts. So all the stuff we're talking about here, TikTok and Instagram native editor, and it's a great way to learn those.
How do you find ideas for content ideas for each format? One thing that I've been doing, I'm sure you guys probably do this as well. I just have all my shit in IG saved based on the different formats. And so anytime I find it, I save it within there. And then if you want, we also have a shit ton of examples within the Kajabi.
All right. So if you're on here and you are not already in the 7-day challenge, go to cut30.co, join that. That will put you into this. You'll get emails about the future labs. You will get the homework. And if you want to make 3 videos over the next 6 or 7 days, we will hold your hand through it and have some fun doing it as well. You guys got anything else?
Nothing on my end.
No, let's hit it. If you are having any access, info at cut30.co will help you with that. If you don't know anything we're talking about and you just stumbled into this, 7-day challenge is just at cut30.co. You can join in. We will see everybody who is in the program on Thursday morning for the follow-up here. Once you have posted the one-shots, and we'll be going through those.
We'll see you in Slack in the meantime.
Let's fucking go. 931 people on the live. Let's roll.
All right, y'all.
Talk
soon.